When we think of Lance Stroll, we don't think of a good F1 driver.
There's a lot of pavement there, a lot of pavement. Yeah, and it pushed the car wide.
Rather, we think of a person who's only there because of his dad. But in this video, we are going to talk about the statistics, backstory, possible outcomes, and other things. Now, let's get into it. Starting off with stats, Lance Stroll is going into his 9th F1 season. In that time, he has entered 171 Grand Prix at the time of me making this. Over the course of the 171 Grand Prix, he has DNF'd 33 times. That means in his F1 career, he has DNF'd 19% of the time, or 1 out of every 5 races. Over the course of his F1 career, he has scored 302 points, with his best season being 75 points. But, that's not terrible, but it does not make up for all the letdowns and disappointments over the last few years. He has only gotten 3 podiums in his entire career, with all of them being third, and 2 of his podiums coming in 2020, which was his best season, which means he hasn't gotten a podium finish in the last 4.5 years. Lance's best Constructors' Championship finish was in his debut in 2017 with Williams, coming in 5th with Felipe Massa. In 2019, Lance joined Racing Point after his dad bought the team, because when you're bad and you want to have an extended racing career, you just have your dad buy an F1 team. Over the course of the 2019 season, Lance was racing with Sergio Perez, and together they scored a total of 73 points, with Lance only contributing 21 to the final score. In 2020, Racing Point got a car upgrade, and this is when he got his career high of 75 points and finished P11, but, when you have one of the best cars on the track and you're an okay driver, you do mediocre. Sergio Perez, on the other hand, finished P4 with 125 points and 2 podiums, with one of them being a race win. In 2021, this is when Racing Point switched from Racing Point to the Aston Martin F1 team, and this is when 4-time world championship Sebastian Vettel comes in. Lance only scored 34 points that season, and Vettel only scored 43. In 2022, Vettel outscored his teammate again, but this time Lance only had 18 points and Vettel had 37. 2023 comes around and Fernando Alonso does too to replace Vettel after he retires. Alonso has an amazing year with 6 podiums in his first 8 races, and that just goes to show that it was not the car, which we already knew, and Alonso finishes the year with 204 points to pair with 8 total podiums. In 2024, he has another not impressive year at all, finishing an average between 12 and 13, and he only scored 24 points. And that brings us to now, in 2025. We are currently 2 races in, and he is tied with Ocon for 7th, with them both having 10 points. We aren't really able to see if he is going to do the unthinkable and turn his season around, or his career around, but, maybe that's just because all the other teams didn't really start off great besides McLaren. Moving on to Lance Stroll's backstory. Lance Stroll was born in Montreal, Canada in 1988 to billionaire Lawrence Stroll. Lawrence Stroll is a big car enthusiast and owns a Ferrari LaFerrari, Ferrari 250 GTO, the Montreal Ferrari dealership, and the Circuit Mont Tremblant, also in Montreal, and has a current net worth of $3.8 billion. But back to Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll got into karting at the age of 8. He had a very good karting career and was promoted to F3. It was in F3 where he won the championship in 2016. From there, he totally skipped F2 and went straight to F1, and that might be where some of the current issues are, but we have known F1 drivers to skip from F3 to F1, such as Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. And enough with backstory because we all know he's rich. Now for possible outcomes. Starting off with pretty current events, with all the hot topics going around with Red Bull, Lawson, and Tsunoda. Honda and Tsunoda are both Japanese, and Honda has always been very supportive of Tsunoda and plans to continue to do so. Aston Martin, on the other hand, is switching from a Mercedes engine to a Honda engine in 2026. If Tsunoda does make a deal with Aston Martin with the Honda engines, this could open up a lot of opportunities for Aston Martin, Tsunoda, and Honda. It could also open up more sponsorship deals for multiple different companies, and more money means less restrictions to test and experiment things. Aston Martin did say, quote, significant upcoming changes that could reshape the team's future are coming, and that means Lance Stroll might be out, and with Fernando Alonso getting old and planning to retire in 2026, they are definitely going to need to make some big decisions soon. Even though Lance has had his occasional good moments, the good results are very quickly drowned out by years of bad performance, and it boggles my mind to think that some of the teams and F1 fans can defend him and have tunnel vision by only looking at the rare good performances he has and not looking at all the DNFs and avoidable mistakes that Lance makes. Because of Lance's bad racing and bad performances over the last few years, us F1 fans now associate the Aston Martin F1 team with Lance Stroll and his crashes over the two-time World Championship winner Fernando Alonso, which is not good for the team merchandise sales and sponsorships. If you have a two-time world champion on your team and it's shadowed by his teammates' crashes and terrible performances, it gives the team a very bad reputation. And even though they have a champion on their team, in my opinion, he took an F1 team that had potential and totally destroyed it. Now to kind of wrap it up, does Lance have his time? That is arguable. He might have. But it is definitely safe to say that he is definitely not worthy to drive an F1 car anymore. To be fair, F1 is one of the hardest, if not the hardest sport in the world, but unlike other F1 drivers, he doesn't have to work another day in his life if he doesn't want to. What are your thoughts on this whole topic? Do you think Aston Martin should pick up Yuki Tsunoda? Tell me in the comments. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed.